Hi everyone, I'm here today with Josh Green, one of the founders of Fruity Slots, which is the UK's #1 slots and casino streaming community. Hi Josh, it's really great to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi Maria, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I know you've been in the gaming and gambling industry for quite some time now. So do you mind firstly sharing with our audience a bit more about you, your journey in this industry, and of course, more about Fruity Slots and how did you get into casino streaming?
Sure. Yeah, it's been over 10 years now, so I'll try
Wow.
and give you the narrow or the shorter version. I started off working for a Playtech based company in it was actually one of Teddy Segee's marketing companies, one of the founders of Playtech in town in a marketing role for poker 10 years ago. That company got acquired by William Hill as part of the joint venture between Playtech and William Hill. It led me on to some interesting online marketing roles with William Hill across sportsbook, casino, poker. So I gained quite a lot of experience across all those verticals, and I've ventured into my own other affiliate businesses in the past and different projects in the space, from being an affiliate to working with the operators to the marketing. So quite rounded. The streaming was a little bit accidental. It was uh, 4 years ago, I was at an affiliate conference when I had a sports affiliate site, and I bumped into a friend of mine that was an affiliate manager. We had a catch up, and he asked me if I was doing anything on Twitch, not YouTube. He mentioned Twitch. At the time, I only really knew of Twitch for poker streams because
Yeah.
people would be. It made more sense to me that you'd be showing your poker tournament, talking about strategy. It seemed a bit more social, and it seemed to make more sense because you could actually learn from watching someone play poker. So that made sense. But he said to me, no, I mean casino. And I just looked at him and said, I don't know what you mean, and what are you talking about that people are streaming casino? And he said, no, we have some really interesting affiliates. It's popular, it's growing. So literally that evening, coming back from the conference, I turned on Twitch, I found a few. I was just amazed how much engagement, how much people were talking about the slots and watching someone play slots. So I spoke to my business partner. We had a sports affiliate site at the time in a very tough market in the UK. We had owned the domain name Fruity Slots for a long time. We've both been in the industry for a long time. We also enjoy gambling. He had a history years ago playing traditional slot machines and known as fruit machines. So we'd acquired domain names over the years, and it was tough at the time to launch a traditional, say, SEO affiliate site in casino space, which was saturated, or PPC, and unless you're an expert in that field, very tough. This gave us an opportunity to enter the market without any really real experience. The barrier to enter for a streamer at that time was very low. You have a computer with the internet, Twitch, you sort of learn a little bit how to stream, and then away you go. A lot of streamers didn't even have a website when they started. They'd just have their Twitch page and drive traffic through Twitch, put a banner up, put a link up. So we thought it was a great opportunity. We both like gambling ourselves, so actually turning on a stream and gambling and playing slots wasn't too hard, and it made it authentic. And I think that's what made the channel grow quite quickly and popular, that it wasn't forced. Viewers could see that we actually enjoyed what we're doing. And then, this is 3 years ago, and then it sort of just shot up in popularity. I think the casinos realized it was a good medium. I think people could enter the space quite cheaply. And that was sort of our start into it. So it wasn't very planned. We stumbled across it. It actually came through a conference. So, good things come out of these conferences. And
Oh, that's certainly great to hear. That's a great story.
that was it.
Now, most iGaming affiliates just run a website, but you guys run a website and YouTube and Twitch channels. Oh, I apologize, my phone was ringing. So you run a website, YouTube and Twitch channels, and I can see you guys are very active on social media channels. How difficult is it to manage all of that? And sometimes don't you just feel like you're doing a lot of extra work compared to the other affiliates that are out there, compared to
Yeah,
most affiliates?
yeah, it's interesting. It's tough because going back to sort of when we started and talking about it, a lot of streamers just started on YouTube or Twitch and they didn't really have a website. They actually didn't really have any marketing or affiliate experience, loads of these
Mm,
streamers. We were quite different. When we got into the space, we already had lots and lots of affiliate experience. So we actually wanted to launch and create a brand and have the social channels and have the website and sort of everything in one go. Obviously, it wasn't finalized, it wasn't polished, and we've been developing it ever since. So we came into the space very much as a brand from day one, with the other channels. Running them is very difficult because they all complement each other, but finding the right way to do it to gain the best traction, exposure, also marketing is always the challenge. So YouTube, Google, for example, loves YouTube. So trying to blend your content with YouTube and your website and create content that's then engaging and can be distributed through different channels is sort of the challenge. So it is tough because you focus on your website and there might be some traditional SEO, but at the same time you're very conscious that you also have a YouTube channel and you have to try and make sure you're still getting exposure on that and you're using the content to assist the current channel. In some cases it helps a lot because our content is very organic and it's not difficult for us to create new content because of the nature of what we do. Other affiliates might always be searching for new articles,
mm,
writing stuff
yeah.
just to fill pages sometimes, or regurgitating old news. With us, we're quite lucky because having content isn't an issue, which is great. Obviously, it's very centered on one thing with the slots and gambling, but that's given us from doing that. It's given us opportunities to broaden just the gambling. We now do promotions. We work with casinos. We work with the game providers. We can do interviews with studios. So getting content has been great for us. Putting it all together is still something that we're very much trying to, I wouldn't say learn, but we're trying to master, and that's the challenge as always. And
Oh,
it's
I
probably
think you already have. I would say you've mastered it.
mastered it. No, do we feel like we're doing a good job? Yes. Do we have more plans or bigger plans to sort of scale up the content and put it all together? Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do as we speak. Actually, we've just brought in some more resource and content and we're focusing on content. So yeah, it's not easy,
Oh,
but it's
that's
a nice
great.
challenge to have. It's better to have content and different channels and worry about how putting it together than the other way around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. Now, your YouTube channel is so popular. You have over 37,000 subscribers. Some of your videos get at least 200,000 views. Some even get over 400,000 views. That's just like absolutely incredible. But I can't imagine it was an easy achievement. Like, how long did it take you to gain that followers base?
It's a great question, and if you look at from when we launched the channel to now, you have these graphs that don't make a lot of sense in that you have these big spikes and then they
Yeah,
plateau down.
like anything.
Like anything, and you're trying to sort of crack the Google algorithm, but that's almost impossible. And it's like
Yeah,
SEO affiliates trying to crack you know
yeah.
Google rankings and stuff, and you've just got to always be trying to learn and test and tweak and change. Because we had a period, I think probably 2019, maybe even 18 or 19, where all of our videos were really skyrocketing, getting
Mm,
more, some of the videos more views than they get today, and this trajectory. And you sort of think, okay, well, it's only going to continue. And then
mm,
things change, and it could just be YouTube changing stuff or
yeah.
search changing, or your videos are not displayed in the areas that they were displayed before. So in terms of how long did it take, I mean, when we started, we really didn't know too much about YouTube. We had to read, watch videos, and there wasn't there's best practices like anything, you know, get engaging thumbnails, make sure the titles have the right keywords, put a description, put tags. So, you know, there's plenty of websites that will tell you, you know, your 5 or 10 things you should do, but it's then testing, and it's then turning on a live stream and seeing, does YouTube sort of like what you're doing? Is it going to push you the right people? And then when people do start watching you, are they engaged? Are they commenting? Are they liking? So it was learning for us. It was, you know, we spoke to a few people that so-called specialists, but really what they'd all say is the same things, you know, do the basics, try, test. There's no quick win and there's no trick. So my business partner always thought, well, look what they're doing. There must be a secret. I said, there's not a hidden secret. We've spoken to enough people now in YouTube, and there's, you know, it's being consistent. It's creating a community. Definitely, we made sure we got streams and videos out regularly, and you know, it's no good for any channel if popular and then a month goes by and there's no videos and the sub sort of forget. So we start with consistency. We try to be a bit original in our videos. We try to be entertaining. Try to you know, get the community and the people that watched us involved. And it went from there. So it was a slow start. It took however long it took to get to 10,000 subscribers. It might have taken a year and a half. We then went from 10 to 20, maybe within 3 or 4 months. So the second jump happened, you know, in quarter of a time to the first jump, and then tapers off again. So, you know, we're hoping there might be, we're at 37 now, like you said.
The next jump will be soon.
Yeah, the next jump might be soon, and at 40 to 50, will it take as long as you don't quite know. And sometimes you go on a rush on YouTube and subs start coming in. So you've always got to be on the ball. You've always got to try and be learning and tweaking. But yeah, that's where we're currently at.
Great. Now, YouTube recently said it will stop accepting gambling adverts in its matched advertising slot. Is there any specific rules for casino streamers that YouTube has? And do you ever worry that you might face tighter regulation sometime soon?
Well, there's sort of two parts to this. We don't advertise on YouTube as in our brand. We know that some casinos do. I think 888 have in the past advertised quite heavily on YouTube. Whether they still do, I'm not 100% sure. It is harder for an affiliate to sort of run adverts and campaigns on YouTube. So we haven't ever gone down that route, and you know, we're much more on the content side. In terms of regulations, we're much more bound by the affiliate rules rather than the YouTube platform. So as far as we're concerned, YouTube allows gambling content. Gambling ads is slightly trickier and
problematic.
Licensed. Affiliate links is more of a general YouTube thing. They don't love affiliate links. You know, if they're gambling links, probably even more so they don't like it. Affiliate links, they don't really want people clicking out of their platform. But if you are directing your viewers to your own website, where the link and correlation makes sense, you know, YouTube give you a little bit more, you know, I wouldn't say favorable, but they look upon that okay, because you're not just sending your traffic to 10 different sites and sort of spamming YouTube as an affiliate. If you launch whatever it does, a clothing brand, a gambling brand, a review site for cars, if your main links are sort of going to your website, which is part of the brand, that's okay for YouTube. So we try and follow that. And then in terms of the regulatory side from affiliates, we have to try and, you know, keep up to date with what they're asking. So some casinos don't want to work with streamers because,
oh, that's interesting.
You know, they're worried about whether it's responsible gambling, whether the UKGC don't want, you know, they want you to age gate streams or something. So some try and stay clear. It's quite it's still a bit grey because the UKGC have announced stuff towards content and streamers that you know, some casinos are still trying to get their head around, but in general they'll take approaches better safe than sorry, because they don't want the risk of licensing, and you know, as we all know what's going on and potential fine. So you know, in a lot of cases casinos would sort of say, we're really going to err on the side of caution, you can't do this and you must do it like this. So it's tougher. When we started, there was no, you know, I wouldn't say anything goes, but you know, there wasn't any sort of UKGC guidelines around Twitch and YouTube and content, and the casinos was certainly less aware of that type of traffic, so more open to sort of streamers just doing what they wanted.
Okay. Now, I'm hearing from everyone else in the industry that casino streaming is gaining more and more popularity. As you are in this vertical, do you see a lot more competitors come to the scene? And do you think at some point all casino affiliates will get into streaming?
I'm going to sort of answer it backwards.
Okay.
Do I think all casino affiliates will get into streaming? No, certainly not, because you have specialists in, say, PPC. That there isn't a need to get into streaming. It's not so easy. You've got to find the right personalities. It has to be authentic. It's time. Building a channel is an instant, whereas paid spend like PPC, you spend X, you get back Y. It's pretty instant at the month. So definitely not all casino affiliates. I do think your content-based affiliates will understand the benefits, and if they're not streaming, they'll certainly be using video, or will be trying to use video as a, you know, content part of what they're doing, because it's so important in terms of sort of rankings and engagement. It's in the sense of, you know, everyone's saying it's gaining more popularity and competitors. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the casinos can see a lot of value in having such an engaged audience. If anyone's watching a casino slot stream, they're very interested in it. So the type of customer, it doesn't always mean they're really high value customers, but you know, if you're watching someone gamble, you know, you're a really targeted, drilled in audience. So the casinos obviously see the benefit in that. And then the game studios, the developers that are building slots, now have a platform where they can really try and engage with an audience, understand what people are liking, what the trends are, what people want to see, and learning that way. Before streaming existed, you know, game studios would launch a game and just use the casino data to try and determine what's working, you know, how many players are playing, what their sort of revenue or turnover on a slot game is. Now streamers are sort of bridging the gap between sort of the casino and studios, so they've certainly emerged as you know, an extra layer to that spectrum. And then because of the popularity, like anything in life, yeah, the competitors come in, and some bigger affiliates or institutions may come in that have bigger budgets and put on a really big sort of branded stream, and they have 5 streamers, and the you know, everything is sort of high end in regards to their production value, and it's tough, because then you're competing with people that may be on 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, playing really high stakes, which, whether it's responsible or not, people like watching. So there are challenges, and you know, we've certainly seen more people come into the space because, you know, it can be lucrative, and it's, on the grand scheme of things, quite a new thing still. So yeah, hopefully that answers it. I don't see everyone doing it, but we've definitely seen competition. We've also seen people come and go. It's not easy. It's also stressful. You're gambling real money. You know, you've got to manage those losses.
That is a very good point. Very good point.
You know, some people, it's just not right for them. So there's a lot of balances. But yeah, the competition for sure has grown, and you know, so there's been some great people that have come into it.
Yeah, you made some interesting points about the game studios. I think they've certainly realized the influence that casino streamers can have, like you said. So do game studios actually reach out to you often for collaboration?
Yeah, Very much so. It sort of works both ways for our business now, because like I talked about earlier, we're interested in getting into the content side as well, which may be reviewing a slot game before it's been released. So it's sort of our job also to reach out to the game studios to look at their roadmap and say, oh, this game's coming out, we think it's going to be popular because of it's, you know, it's a popular mechanic, or it's a follow-up, or the maths model's different. So, you know, we'll try and look at games early, review games early, get content on our site. Sometimes you might want to build some publicity around it. So we're interested in working with them from a content point of view. They're interested in working with us because we're getting exposure for their game. So if they do a big release, whether it's a big studio that's doing, you know, a really big release, and they're spending with casinos on marketing, promotion stuff, you know, they're getting that extra visibility. They're hoping streamers play their games, potentially get wins that get shared on social. So a lot or most game developers are, you know, pro streamers or interested, and at least will engage and speak to them because, you know, it's in their interest to do so. They're getting that exposure. We haven't come across many examples where they sort of don't want to engage with you or work with you. And in some cases, yeah, there are collaborations. We might launch a game for a studio on a specific site. They might have an exclusive launch on a casino that we stream on. So there's a collaboration there. We might do some giveaways to viewers for merchandise for those studios. You know, literally just before this call, a studio, I won't mention the name, reached out to send us some sort of t-shirts and stuff. So cool. Very much so, they're reaching out, they're engaging, and hopefully also sort of not learning, but using us as feedback. We play slots now, you know, whatever, 5 days a week for 3 years. We think we've got a good steer on what's fun, what people like to see.
Absolutely.
So it sort of makes sense for them to try and engage with our sort of audience to understand what, you know, how they can make their games better potentially.
Oh, that's great. Now, I cannot mention the pandemic, because everyone said that last year the online casino just boomed, especially when there was no sports in that short period of time. Yeah. Now we have the sports bag, the Euros have been on, but is online casino still just as popular in your view? Because you know how much traffic you get from your affiliate side.
No, the answer is, as we're seeing right now, and it's sort of too early to say because I'm in the UK and we're not fully out of lockdown. We're very close, but we don't have the so-called Freedom Day yet. We have seen a big drop-off over last month, and that could certainly be with the Euros, sports, the weather, the fact that the first or second level of restrictions have passed, so people can go out and restaurants and eating. You know, back a few months ago, you still couldn't do that. So you know, the casino space across the board, I haven't spoken to enough people to see if they're seeing the same thing. Summers in general, anyway, might dip off and people go away.
Yeah, because people want to go out.
Yeah, and out. Obviously, you're right. During the pandemic, no one could go out at some stage. They were in. Gambling went up. There wasn't sports to bet on, so casino and poker certainly boomed. We have seen less interest. It's very early to tell if it's, you know, sometimes you have cycles in your website and traffic anyway, and different reasons. Can we solely attribute it to that? Not 100%, but yeah, I'm sure it has played a part. We've still got a strong interest, and we've still got the core, and we're not, you know, certainly not panicking, but certainly that boom from the pandemic, it wasn't just going to continue, stay and grow. I think it's natural to see, especially on the casino side, a drop off, and I'm assuming other affiliates or even casinos will be, especially over the Euros, seeing the same.
That's great insight. Thank you for that. I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Fruity Slots is the biggest slot streaming community in the UK. Are you guys planning to expand beyond the UK sometime soon? Well, with YouTube, you're kind of international already.
Yeah. So it's a great question. If it was sometimes that easy to say, okay, bring in a Swedish streamer or bring in a Canadian streamer, and then you've got that market. I think we have tried actually. We had
Okay.
a few years ago. We probably tried too soon. Before we were established enough, we launched what we called the Stream Team, and it was we had a father and son. The son was over 18, by the way, in Sweden. So father and son combined. We had someone in Canada. We had someone in Germany. We had a husband and wife in the UK. We had a guy called the Slot Professor, very good. So we had this whole range of people. We thought, oh, we'll turn it into a TV channel. So if you don't like watching them, you just won't watch them, and you'll watch them. It didn't work for various reasons. Whether it was too much too soon. We hadn't established a brand. Our community wouldn't sort of necessarily say, well, I'm just not going to watch them, I'll wait. There was a lot of cost involved in that managing. We weren't a big team. We're managing 10 streamers internationally. The channel was almost 24/7 at one point. A lot of stress behind that. So we sort of went back, but at the same time we saw competitors do similar stuff. So I think the model does work. Maybe not. I'm not sure I've seen many channels that have loads of different streamers from different countries, but they've certainly got 5 or 6 streamers that they rotate round. We do get an international audience, like you said, from YouTube. We do plan, because of UK regulations on slots, especially in October when they're taking off auto spin. So actually you have to manually click away. We do plan to have a base in Ireland, just so we can, as content creators, basically produce the content we believe viewers want to see. That doesn't, having a base in Ireland doesn't necessarily mean you're getting, more Irish traffic or players, but it's always a challenge to not put all your eggs in one basket. We do have plans to sort of go outside the UK, and some of the content on our website that I talked about that we're investing in, hopefully will broaden our overall reach. But we don't have a specific plan to target one country aggressively, to answer that question. We don't have on the horizon anything say, we're launching this in Canada and this is what we're doing. We do have a completely separate project, not Fruity Slots, but as a gaming company in India, affiliation. So we're looking at that market. But
that's an interesting market as well.
Yeah, that's an upcoming market. That's interesting. We have a small team out in India. Well, I say small team, but quite a big team actually. But it's not part of the Fruity Slots brand. I mean, we have a bigger company, Bet Up Media, which is our sort of marketing company. So yeah, we're looking at other markets, because the UK is still, despite it being very strong for gambling, it's heavily regulated. Will the regulations get tighter? We've seen casinos pull out. The slots have certainly impacted. They've already taken away or changed certain things. Come October, like I said, when you can't, automatically put your game on to run for say 100 spins or 50 spins, it will affect things. Will it affect players and consumers as much? Don't completely know, but yeah, having all your eggs in the UK is certainly carries risk.
Well, thank you for that. I'm sure whatever's in the cards for you guys in the future is going to be great. We're going to be watching you for sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, Josh, and for sharing more about Fruity Slots and the casino streaming vertical. I do hope I'll speak to you again soon. And to anyone watching this, if you haven't already seen some of the Fruity Slots videos, go and check them out because they're really fun to watch.